What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 7 match in the UPA-D League, taking on Pure and the Purdue Mold Breakers. Pure took over the team from King Clyde really late into the week on Friday night, Saturday morning, doesn't really matter, really late into the week, and the transactions were active. I'm just going to have a little vent session about that for a second here. I don't think that it's valid for transactions to to be in effect the same week that someone takes over a team. I don't really like that at all, especially when it was already Saturday morning, and Clyde and I had scheduled for Friday night. I didn't appreciate that at all, and I made myself known about that already, but I just wanted to get that out there that I didn't think it was very fair that I had to re-prep for a team. And look, oh wow, he brought both of the things that he dropped for. Big surprise, because obviously he was going to bring those active for me if they were allowed to be active for me. So there you go. A little bit mad about that. There's no Lando I. So like because of that, right, I prepped for the Snorlax, the Empoleon, the Heatran, and the Landorus Incarnate, none of which came. And I prepped for all of them a lot harder than I would have prepped for Spiritomb, Throh, and Rotom Frost, none of which were going to come against me anyways. So just very disappointing to to be put in this position, right? Because I honestly don't think if he makes the drops that that it matters all that much, and that I see probably a much more scary team that I'm more prepared to deal with. But I didn't have the time to completely re-prep anyways, so I just adjusted some things based on the new drops, and then yeah, I'm not super thrilled about that. But anyways, that's besides the point. He could have brought the Mega Latios, Tapu Bulu, Heatran, Toxapex, Z, Raikou, Landorus Incarnate, Snorlax, Empoleon, Z, Cofagrigus, or Z, Rotom-Fan. All three of the Z users are here. I don't even know what to expect. It's probably not going to be Z Raikou, but I don't know. I'm not really sure what the Rotom-Fan is here for. Maybe a Mungus. A Mungus would make a lot of sense, considering the Bulu, in theory, gets shut down by a Mungus, which is something to think about there. If you haven't seen my team builder, you should definitely check that out. It was super rushed because, again, I filmed the team builder for Clyde and then had to refilm a team builder for Pure. And so if I sound like I'm a little pissed off throughout the video, that's because I am. So don't let that reflect the results of the battle at all. I'm just mad about the situation that I was forced into this late into the season with matches that all matter for playoffs. So anyways, I'm just going to lead with my Heliolisk. It looks like a really big threat against everything on his team. I don't really care what he wants to lead with. Heliolisk matches up fine against all of them. I figure he'll probably want to lead with something like Raikou or Rotom, but he might want to lead with the Bulu as well. I don't think that Toxapex is a valid lead, but Kofag might be a lead as well. So I am just going to lead with the Heliolisk here. It's my best lead matchup against a Raikou anyways, and it is indeed going to be the Raikou that comes out. So he's going to Volt Switch on me, and at this point, I just want to talk about this roll a little bit too, because it shows up as 23 on the replay, but it was 23.5 in the battle, and I kind of wish that I was live coming UPA to show that now, but that was 0.1% higher than any possible roll that, well, actually, you guys can't even see it because his logo's in the way, but anyways, he did 23.5 in the battle, and 23.4 should have been the highest roll for a timid set, so I immediately assumed that he was modest, and that he was, like, speed creeping my speed creep or something like that. Yeah, and I assumed he was modest Scarf based on that. So I played around his Raikou set that he was modest Scarf. But I just like clicked the Hyper Voice turn 1. It's going to two-shot the Raikou, which is probably why he didn't want to stay in. And this Lottie shouldn't take it very well, but it turns out it's actually quite a bulky Latios to be able to take the Hyper Voice from 43. I probably should have just clicked Volt Switch there, but he's just going to double into the Raikou on my Torn, and then I'm going to have to make a play into Hydra here, and he's going to show off the Volt Switch. This doesn't look like modest damage, so I'm a little bit confused as to what's happening there, but I'm going to be able to taunt the Toxapex, and then we'll see that the Toxapex is like entirely Spidef. Like this is just a fully Spidef Toxapex based on that Dark Pulse damage, which leads me to believe that Swampert can break it relatively easily. I'm not entirely sure why this is fully Spidef. It may be just for the Hydra. If I was like offensive Hydra, maybe that's what it's for, or maybe he expected my Specs Pelipper. I'm not sure. But I really feel like the mons that threaten his team more are physically biased. So I'm assuming the Cofagrigus is Phys Def for my Mega Swampert. Makes the most sense to me in the matchup here. But now, at this point, I'm going to go into Heliolisk, predicting him to Scald again. I probably should have just done it the first turn after I had taunted, and just to, like, get some health back from Dry Skin and get a free Volt Switch off. But he's going to go in the Bulu here. And again, I think the Raikou is Scarfed, so I'm going to stay in Volt Switch, but it turns out the Bulu is Scarfed. It's good knowledge, but I would not have wanted to give up my Heliolisk for that. I clicked Volt Switch assuming that the Raikou was Scarfed, which was a bad assumption, based on me thinking that it was Modest. So game not being super helpful to me in that regard there, in terms of my calking. But now that he's locked into Hornleech, I can go in my Torn relatively freely and get a knockoff on the Bulu potentially. He's going to preserve the Scarf and go into his Rotom-Fan, which would have been an excellent Hurricane switch in, of course. But we see that it is the Z user, and my Hydra can tank this relatively comfortably. And I get a Roost off on his Volt Switch into the Tapu Bulu. So I figured this thing probably has superpower. It's going to be his best way to break me, but I'm going to go to the Torn anyways. He's going to make a prediction, really good prediction, go for the edge there. And then I'm just going to double into what I would take an edge with, which is Mega Swampert, which can deal with the Toxapex relatively well here. So I'm just going to Mega Evolve and click Earthquake. It's my best play. And we do see that the Cofagrigus is just like entirely Fizz Def. Leads me to believe that it's a relatively free Pelipper switch, and I'm just going to go for the Hurricane this turn. I probably should have just clicked Hydro Pump. We're going to find out that this Raikou is indeed Assault Vest now, and I get the confusion on him. I'm going to go into my Mega Swampert on a fairly obvious Volt Switch, and then I'm going to be able to get an Earthquake off against whatever I want here, which is likely going to be the Cofagrigus. I figured this was probably a good situation for me because this is looking like a roll to kill this Cofagrigus, but then he shows the Protect, so he's going to get more poison damage on me, and he's going to be out of range of Earthquake now. And my rain stops. So a really good strat to deal with rain is Protect anyways, but there you go. Bringing the Pelipper again on the Energy Ball here. So I'm not sure what his moveset is, like the last move, but we've seen T-Spikes, Protect, and Energy Ball. I can just, I can defog this T-Spike away if I really want to, but there's no point when I'm sitting in the face of the Cofag that can just set it up again. So I'm just going to go for the Hydro Pump now, and we'll see the Raikou is still his switch in. And it's going to live. So I'm not entirely sure if that was a roll or not. I'm going to go to my Hydra this time on whatever he wants to do. I'm not going to make the same play twice, and then I just get to Dark Pulse. I believe I clicked Dark Pulse, actually, on the Bulu switch in. I did click Dark Pulse. So this Bulu doesn't have a ton of HP investment. It's kind of what I was expecting the HP investment to be, and that's what I had EV'd my Swampert to kill with Sludge Wave, because I'm a Lonely Nature Swampert with Sludge Wave for this. So I don't know. The Hornleech is going to get him all of his HP back, though. There's not really a play I can make around that, and I kind of just have to sack my Torn off here because I'm not defensively invested enough. I ran too much speed, and it was probably a bad idea to run that much speed against the Raikou, but it does let me get in my Hydra to roost here and deal with the Pex. You know, the Pex is getting a lot of recovery, but I'm just going to go into my Pelipper here on the Pex, and I didn't really care what he wanted to go for. I was probably going to click Taunt there if I was going to 1v1 the Pex, but he's just going to recover anyways, so I give him a Rain Boosted Scald, and he gets the burn on my Pelipper, but I'm just going to be able to defog the T-Spike away. He's probably just going to try and recover stall me, but now I'm going to go into my Pert. I can chew the Scald, and I've got some turns of Rain to play with here, so I'm going to get to pick up at least one kill, hashtag not a 6-0, as we're going to pick off the Raikou. It's a pretty good sack. It was probably not doing that much in the game for him anyways. Cofagrigus comes in. Obviously, the Cofagrigus coming in for free means that I can't two-shot it, and I'm going to get two-shot by the poison from T-Spikes, so there's not really much I can do with that, but I can get my Necrozma in on the T-Spike, which is something. So I figure at this point, my best play is probably to just get Necrozma in before it gets poisoned, which is this turn, and then start setting up Calm Minds. I'm a Breaking Necrozma, I'm a Calm Mind Stored Power variant. I've got Earth Power over Dark Pulse, which I'm probably going to regret. I have Earth Power for the Heatran and the Empoleon, neither of which came. I'm a little bit surprised that Empoleon didn't come, actually, in the grand scheme of things. I think Empoleon was a really good bring against my team, but that's maybe a different point. Yeah, so Necrozma's in against the Cofagrigus. It probably can't touch me. Seeing Energy Ball leads me to believe that it probably doesn't have Shadow Ball. which is kind of strange, but that's how you deal with Mega Swamperts, I guess. So I'm going to Calm Mind up in the Cofagrigus' face as he's going to double into the Toxapex. I already know this thing is going to want to click Toxic against me. I've seen the Toxic already, but I just need to get to a certain point where I can start breaking his team. So 2 Calm Minds is that point, and I'm just going to store power and obliterate this Toxapex. I actually should have got to +3 on it, probably, but I'm going to get to +3 on this Cofagrigus, knowing that it'll click Protect and try and Toxic Stall me out. I basically get to pick another one here with the stored power. Now that I get to +3, I can kill the Latios if it switches in, so we're going to be able to pick off the Latios. And then the Cofagrigus comes in here, and he's going to click Pain Split on my Morning Sun. So that was sort of a 50-50 in my mind. I could have just clicked Stored Power, but I was predicting his Protect, which he's going to go for now, and I'm going to Morning Sun again on the Protect. The first Protect, or like the first play where he clicked Pain Split, I could have just clicked Stored Power, and I probably would have ended at a higher amount of health to be able to deal with the Bulu, which now can Revenge Kill me. So I think that was probably a misplay on my part, not like assuming that he wasn't going to make the same play twice. But Necrozma is just going to be able to pick up 3 kills, which is super duper helpful. Getting the Cofagrigus out of the way means that Mega Swampert's in a better position to just be able to click like Ice Punch and Sludge Wave against the Rotom-Fan and the Tapu Bulu. The Latios being out of the way, also same sort of deal. It means that my Hydra is kind of necessary to deal with Rotom-Fan. Pelipper is like dead weight at this point. It's just setting the rain for my Swampert. But I'm going to go into the Hydra on the Horn Leech here. It's pretty free Dark Pulse for me. And the Rotom is not going to enjoy this Dark Pulse. I'm going to go for it again as the Tapu Bulu comes in. Sorry, I go for Roost, predicting a Volt Switch or whatever. And then I'm going to go into Pelipper, predicting his Superpower. So finally seeing the Superpower here. I'm actually a little bit shocked that it ended up doing that much. But we're going to drop to Burn, which is great. Means that I get my full turns of Rain with my Swampert in. And here's where I make a big misplay. So, as you can see, I clicked Sludge Wave, but I had canceled my attack. And I don't know why I did it, because he was -1 defense on the Bulu. Ice Punch was a roll to kill it, and I would have just won the game with Mega Swampert here. But instead, I predicted him to stay in and try and click Superpower again against me. And so I was going to kill it with the Sludge Wave. I'm outspeeding a Scarf Bulu because I'm outspeeding a Scarf Rotom in Rain, which didn't change in my prep at all because I was trying to outspeed Scarf Rotom Frost in Rain. But here I'm outspeeding a Scarf Rotom Fan in Rain. Which means I'll outspeed the Scarf Bulu no matter if he's Adamant or Jolly. But the Sludge Wave play here is pretty much going to cost me. It's not going to do enough damage to the Rotom-Fan. If I'd clicked Ice Punch, I kill this. The Bulu is Scarfed. It's not going to have Protect or anything like that. I live the extra turn of Poison, and then I can Sludge Wave the Bulu the following turn. And the Bulu, I don't think... It might have been able to lock itself into Superpower against my Swampert, which might have killed my Hydreigon. I'm not entirely sure. I am a full Hydreigon and I'm max HP, so I'm not sure about that one, but it probably would have been at least been in range of Dark Pulse at that point, which is great, just in case my Sludge Wave didn't actually kill it. Yeah, so pretty sad about clicking Sludge Wave there. And then I'm just going to double into my Hydra now, knowing that I can live like one more turn if I have to, as he's going to go for the Air Slash, just sacking this off and then bring in the Bulu. I'm going to get a crit Dark Pulse here, which isn't even going to matter slightly, because this Bulu is just going to click Superpower against my Hydra. And I figure I can get at least one more kill with my Swampert if I play it correctly, but my Rain is gone. So he should be able to just Superpower me. He actually just doubles into the Rotom on my Sludge Wave, which is really interesting. I did die to a Superpower from that range, even if I wasn't lonely. But, you know, he's going to give me the differential, and then Bulu's going to be able to clean up the game here. So I think Bulu actually got all 6 kills, I think, against me. Necrozma got 3, Swampert got 1 or 2, and that was it. That was all my kills. So, again, I did choke this game away there at the end. I definitely should not have canceled the Ice Punch click. That was just an early morning blunder, I guess. But overall, takeaways from this game is that transactions active the same week is not good. It's not good. I don't respect that at all, but we're going to move on. You know, we've got 3 weeks left here. We're 3-4 -1. We can still make playoffs. I've got to win my last 3 weeks, though, if I really want to have a good chance at making playoffs with a 6-4 record, especially with how poor my differential is. It's just been really close games over and over and over again, which I'm proud of, actually. You know, I thought that I came into this thinking that I was one of the weaker players, but I've shown that I can be upper mid-tier to upper class depending on who I'm playing against. I think that I've had really solid game plans against a few of the better players in the league. you know, I beat Scrappy. I lost to JJ in a really close game that I definitely could have won, and I choked that one away as well. The game against Ange, I just did not have a matchup against. I beat DS, who's actually first in the league right now. I'm his only loss. This game against Pure/Clyde really came down to just a misplay on my part. And yeah, so we'll sort of see. The last like really tough competition I play is Stime in week 9, and that'll be a really big one to determine if I make playoffs or not. Even if I lose that one and win the next two, as long as I can keep that one close and go 5-5 with good differential, then I should be sitting in a reasonably solid spot for playoffs. I'm not sure, but playoffs is the goal, of course. So we'll see about that. Again, next week we play Scotty, and the London Luxray was originally Fizzle the Hizzle and then Matt, and then both of them dropped. So this is the third replacement for this team, but it hasn't made any transactions. I'm probably going to verify that before I start building because I don't want to be caught off guard like I was last week, or this week I should say. But yeah, that's going to be for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys for week 8.